Welcome to She's World. My name is Sheila, but you can call me She. In today's episode, let me give my disclaimer here first. I am not an immigration lawyer. The process that I share here on my channel is basically the process that I went through throughout my immigration journey here in America and how I've been able to come out and now become an American citizen. So I'm sharing this for free. I want to say this though before I start. You belong here. I know it seems so cheesy, but you do belong here. And so I'm here to help you throughout this journey. In this episode, I'm going to take you straight onto USCIS website to show you for the form I-130 exactly what USCIS requires for you to attach at least the kind of the guidelines and as to how you fill the form, how much you're going to pay, and then how much document USCIS or what type of document USCIS wants you to attach to your application. So let's get onto the laptop. I will pull it up and then we'll look at it together. Bye, Royals. Let's go. This is something I completely love about USCIS because really it's going to give you all the documents that you need to attach to every form that you file. So make sure you go to the USCIS official website. All you do is type here, let's go USCIS, and then it just gives you the home page. It brings you right here. Awesome. So we're going to type in form I-130 and then it pulls it up here. And for the purpose of this video, we are going to go to instructions for form I-130. Awesome. And then this one gives you the direct filing address, which tells you exactly where you're to file this form for in case you decide you want to mail it in. For this video, we're focusing on what documents to attach. Okay, so here the purpose of I-130, we've gone over that in my previous video, but I'll just touch base real quick. A citizen or lawful permanent resident of the United States may file Form I-130, petition for alien relatives, with US Citizenship and Immigration Services to establish the existence of a relationship to certain alien relatives who wish to immigrate to the United States. So who may file? If you're a U.S. citizen, you must file a separate Form I-130 for each eligible relative. You may file Form I-130 for a spouse, your unmarried children under 21 years of age, your unmarried sons or daughters 21 years of age or older, your married sons or daughters of any age, your brothers or sisters, you must be 21 years of age or older, and your mother or father, you must be 21 years of age or older. Beautiful. So this is what we are, for this video, we are basing it off on. We are using the one for your spouse. Again, it applies to anyone in this category. 2. If you're a lawful permanent resident of the United States, you must file a separate Form I-130 for each eligible relative. You may file Form I-130 for A. Your spouse, your unmarried child 21 years of age, and your unmarried son or daughter 21 years of age or older. Okay, beautiful. I want to scroll straight to the documents that you have to attach because that's what really I am going for in this particular video. But I will encourage you to take your time and read the instructions. I cannot even express to you how amazing it is that USCIS literally tells you how to fill every single form. Every single number is provided here. All right. So here we're going to look at the filing fee. What is the filing fee? The filing fee for this form I-130 is $535. The filing fee for this petition cannot be waived. So right here it tells you how much it's going to be, and then here it says the mode of payment. Of course, you cannot mail cash. Very specific here in bold. The check or money order must be drawn on a bank or other financial institutions located in the United States and must be payable in US currency, and make the check or money order payable to US Department of Homeland Security. Awesome. So the documents to attach, it says general requirement. 1. Does approval of this petition mean that my family member is automatically a lawful permanent resident or they can immediately immigrate to the United States? No. An approved petition does not give the beneficiary automatic lawful permanent resident status or permission to immediately immigrate to the United States. So here it talks about when will a visa become available. We are not going to go into that. We're going to come here. What documents do you need to show that you are a US citizen? A copy of your birth certificate. So if you have a copy of your birth certificate as an American citizen, you attach a copy of that. The second one is a copy of your naturalization certificate or certificate of citizenship issued by USCIS or former Immigration and Naturalization Service INS. So if you naturalized here to become a citizen, you have to add a copy of that document as well. And then here, a copy of Form FS-240, Consular Report of Birth Abroad. So if you were born outside, you have that copy as well. The D says a copy of your unexpired US passport or an original statement from a US consular office verifying that you are a US citizen with a valid passport. So here, it tells you what you need to apply. Part 4, question 4. What documents do you need to show that you are a lawful permanent resident? If you're a lawful permanent resident, you must file your petition with a copy of the front and back of your resident permit card, Form I-551. If you have not yet received your card, submit copies of your passport biographic page and your page showing admission as a lawful permanent resident or other evidence of permanent resident status issued by USCIS or the former INS. Good. What documents do you need to prove family relationships? So for this video, we're going to base it off of marriage. You have to provide a copy of your marriage certificate. We've talked about that throughout the filing process. Provide a copy of that. Question 2. If either you were or your spouse was previously married, submit copies of documents showing that each of the prior marriages was legally terminated, and you must submit 2 identical color passport style photographs of yourself and your spouse, if he or she is in the United States, taken within 30 days of filing this petition. The photos must have a white to off-white background, be printed on thin paper with a glossy finish, and be unmounted and unretouched. So very important. You have to add 2 passport photos of yourself and 2 passport photos of your spouse as well. Note, in addition to the required documentation listed above, you should submit one or more of the following types of documentation that may prove you have a bona fide marriage. I've said this before. The burden is on you. The onus is on you to tell the USCIS officer that this marriage is bona fide, that this marriage is not a sham, it's legitimate. The first document, documentation showing joint ownership of property. A lease showing joint tenancy of a common residence, meaning you both live at the same address together. Documentation showing that you and your spouse have combined your financial resources. Birth certificate of children born to you and your spouse together. Affidavit sworn to or affirmed by third parties having personal knowledge of the bona fides of the marital relationship. Each affidavit must contain the full names and addresses of persons making the affidavit, date and place of birth of the person making the affidavit, and complete information and details explaining how the person acquired his or her knowledge of your marriage, or any other relevant documentation to establish that there is an ongoing marital union. I cannot even keep saying this anymore. You have to prove to the officer that this marriage is legitimate. And so whatever evidence that you have is literally what is asking here. Make sure you submit it. Let's read the note. Note, you must submit clear and convincing evidence that you and your spouse entered into marriage in good faith and not for immigration purposes. If you married your spouse while your spouse was the subject of an exclusion, deportation, removal, or rescission proceeding, including during the judicial review or any one of these proceedings, or you are a lawful permanent resident that obtained your permanent residence through a prior marriage that was not determined by the death of your spouse, and you are filing your petition for your spouse that you were married within 5 years of obtaining your permanent residence. Evidence, evidence, evidence. I don't think there is anything like too much evidence to prove a bona fide marriage. Think about it. The officer does not know you. All the stuff that you do, they don't know. All the places you visit, they don't know. All the family activities you do together, they don't know. They don't know your neighbor. They don't know none of that. You have to tell them this information so they know that people around you know and accept that your marriage is real. The B part, a child and you are the mother, or a child and you are the father, or a child born out of wedlock and you are the father, a brother or sister. So if you're submitting this document and you have a child, you have to submit copies of the child's birth certificate showing your name and the name of your child. And then, of course, if you're the father, you need to also show the birth certificate showing both parents. The C, a child and you are the father. Submit a copy of the child's birth certificate showing both parents' names, your marriage certificate to the child's mother, and proof of legal termination of parents' prior marriage, if any, issued by civil authorities. So if your spouse, for example, had a child before, they have to submit the birth certificate of that child, the documents to prove that they were previously married to the mother of that child, and vice versa. You just have to provide every document that you can. And USCIS literally stipulates everything right here for you on page 6, 7, and currently 8. What is the name? So if you ever had a name change right here, you want to include that. Let me read part 6 real quick. Here, notice to persons filing for spouses. If you have been married less than 2 years on the date your spouse has obtained permanent resident status, USCIS will grant your spouse conditional permanent resident status for 2 years under INA Section 216. USCIS then requires both you and your spouse to file Form I-751, petition to remove conditions of residence during the 90 days period immediately before your spouse's conditional permanent resident status expires. I have a video on how to fill this form out as well on my channel. So once you get there and you get your green card, we'll also go through that process as well. So let's say you have a question. What if an official document is not available? Of course, we all have this question. Let's see the answer USCIS says. In this situation, submit a statement from the appropriate civil authority certifying that the document or documents are not available. You must also submit secondary evidence, which may include one or more of the following records listed below. Religious record, a copy of a document bearing the seal of a religious organization showing that the baptism, dedication, or comparable rite occurred within 2 months after birth, and showing that the date and place of the child's birth, date of the religious ceremony, and the names of the child's parent. School record, a letter from the authority, preferably the first school attended, showing the date of admission to the school, the child's date of birth or age at the time, place of birth, and names of parent. There are so many ways that you can give records that you say, okay, I lost this document. USCIS gives you that option to find them. And the last part is census record. State or federal census record showing the names, place of birth, date of birth, or the age of the person listed. This is endless. I will implore you and I will encourage you to take your time to read through this portion. It tells you exactly what you need to attach. And this, for me, in my opinion, does not exhaust everything. It's an umbrella. You can continue to add anything that shows a bona fide marriage. You see here that it didn't say you should add trips that you attended with family members, but that shows a bona fide marriage. And so you want to enter that as well. It's saying enter everything that shows a bona fide marriage. So whatever you do with your spouse together, please indicate that. Again, all this information can be found on USCIS website. This process is tedious, but USCIS also makes sure that we are given the step-by-step processes to know what to do. Awesome. This is going to be all that I'm going to talk about in this particular video for documents that USCIS requests for you to attach to your filing. I'll do a video on the documents that I attached to my I-130 when I applied, which is really not different from everything USCIS is asking for. Once again, thank you so much for watching videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section and then I'll do videos to try to address them. Again, I am not an immigration lawyer. I did this process on my own and I'm just offering my help as to how I went through the process. All right, goodbye, Royals. Take care.